do another camera hookup with my computer. So welcome to Untitled Talk Show Live. I'm Jenny Norris, your host, and it's good to be back. We did have a bit of a hiatus, had a lot of family things going on from the end of the year. We did a show with Teresa, with Krista Jessup on sales. And then I attended my mother-in-law's memorial and funeral and my sister-in-law's funeral. And my aunt died, and so there's just been a lot of stuff going on. But it's nice to be back and to be able to continue our series on sales and marketing and so forth. So today we've got a great show. I do want to do some announcements before we bring our guests on. And so the first thing I wanted to share is call for speakers. So our conference coming up in September here in Denver, hope you all know about that, the International Association of Home Staging Professionals Family Reunion Conference and Expo. And we did add the family reunion element because we are a family, and I would certainly miss all of you, and I know you've missed seeing a lot of your colleagues, and so it's our opportunity to get together and network and hug and chat and learn, of course, and then our vendors are going to be there as well. So that will be at the end of September, but we are calling for speakers right now. You have until March 25th to submit. So if you go to any number of our public pages, you can see the call for speakers has been put out there, and you just simply have to fill out a form, share your topic. And what we are asking people to do is to consider the theme of, thank you, Sylvia, consider the theme of soar. And to soar, as you can see in here, it means more than just flying. So it means to rise swiftly and to feel the wind slipping beneath you as you ride it higher and higher, and then you're kind of gliding. So if you've ever seen a bird soaring through the air, it almost seems like effortless. And so, but it takes work to get there. So we want to teach people how to soar, and it's seek opportunities and rise, and then reach new heights of success is the subcategory. So we are looking for speakers that can talk about sales and marketing, business strategies, logistics, growth, mindset, trends, things like that we can bring to our audience. And so if that is you, if you're interested in submitting, please get that to us by the 25th so we can start making some decisions on our speakers, which is really exciting. And with that, we do have our keynotes that we have lined up, and a couple more we'll be announcing soon. So the first one I wanted to share here, Chris Widener. And so he just came out with another book. It's called Impact, and his topic will be all about having an impact in your business and success. And so he'll be our business keynote speaker, and he is a well-known author. I think this is his 21st or 22nd book that he has published. He's ranked in the top, I believe, 50 best motivational speakers in the world. So not just the U.S., but in the world. And so we're really privileged to have him joining us. And I know he's going to be amazing. So really excited for that. And then also we have Johnny Fowler, who some of you have heard from as well. So he is definitely a social media guru, very, very, very knowledgeable about strategies to outsmart algorithms with Facebook and Instagram and so forth, and talks probably as fast, if not faster than I do. So he crams a lot of content into his time. So he'll be joining us as well. And we have some more speakers we'll be announcing as soon as we confirm everything. Of course, the conference is going to be held at the beautiful Gaylord Hotel. And it is the largest hotel west of the Mississippi, so it's only a couple years old. This is the back side of it. So it's a gorgeous hotel, looked right out at the Rockies. And so we're excited to be able to share a little bit of Colorado spirit with you when you come to the conference. Here's an inside look. This is as you walk in through the hotel, that's the main lobby area, and you're looking into this big, it's like an enormous lodge. And so beautiful, beautiful hotel. We do have special rates we've negotiated. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of those, and all that information you can find on our site, the conference site, ihospconexpo.com. So make sure you do that. I apologize for the noise in the background. That actually might be my other phone ringing. Sorry, I can't answer. So we also have, as part of that session, our conference is September 24th, 25th, 26th, and then our advanced leader training will be the 27th and the 28th. And this is where six-figure and above business owners, we can get together and we can really have more of an in-depth time together to network and really talk about issues that we may have growing our businesses. Our conference certainly has something for everybody. We'll have beginning, intermediate, and advanced topics you can learn from. So some education you'll be able to benefit as well. And but this 2-day intensive workshop, if you will, really allows us to delve into issues that we may not be able to really get to during the conference and also even throughout the year. So it's nice to be able to get around colleagues and learn what they're doing to solve issues that maybe you have, or maybe you share something to help them solve a challenge, or we talk about it as a group and come up with solutions and so forth. So it's been really, really beneficial. We were the first group to actually collaborate and bring other entities from other groups together. Collaboration is what I'm all about. I believe there's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge in areas that we can all benefit from, and so being able to bring them to you is important. So it's not only your six-figure colleagues, but it's also special speakers who'll be sharing with you. And Johnny and Chris have both agreed to come and teach and speak to our advanced stagers attendees, which is the first time that's happening for our conference attendees and the six figures. So that'll be really beneficial because it's a one-on-one time with people that are super knowledgeable about things that we need to know and do in our business. So of course, our conference is a true celebration of the industry, and so we are excited that on Sunday night, because our conference is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 24th, 25th, 26th of September. Sunday night is our Roaring 2021 Great Gatsby Gala Awards Dinner, and we're going to have a lot of fun. People that will be VIPs, you'll have a special speakeasy that you'll have access to, so that'll be a special area that we're going to have set up as like a little exclusive for honoring you for being a VIP. And just in general, great meal. We'll have our awards. There'll be dancing, music. Costumes are encouraged, so start thinking about what you want to wear, and it's going to be really fun. So that is part of our conference. Nobody else does anything like this for their events. And it's business is important, but it's also you have to have fun and celebrate our industry and get around your friends and make memories. And so it's not just about plunking yourself in a chair and watching a bunch of speakers. It's also being able to meet people that maybe you've engaged with on social media and being able to get with them face to face and do, forge those friendships that'll last a lifetime. Because most of my colleagues that my dear friends that I met them at events like this, and we had the chance to then continue that friendship and expand our care for each other and so forth. So it's super important that you are able to do that. Of course, we'll be taking COVID restriction requirements very seriously. I don't know what Colorado's going to have in place by then. I'm hoping our state will lift restrictions in the next month. And but certainly I know people are possibly concerned about, coming to a large event. And the ballroom that we have is very large, and we definitely will have the ability to space out as needed to comply with whatever regulations are in place by then. And we'll be providing safety things for people to wear as well. So, we'll be doing temperature checks at doors. We'll have hand sanitizer, gloves, certain masks. We'll decide what we're going to do, whether we do the face shield or something else. So I just want you all to know that we take protection of our members, any kind of an event like this, very seriously. And I don't want that to be a reason that you don't come to an event. And of course, the Gaylord also has restrictions in place that they'll be making sure that all the people there are honoring as well. So anyway, fear, let's not let fear hold us back. Remember, fear, I talked about this all last year, was either forget everything and run and stay hidden, or face everything and rise. Face everything and rise. And so we're choosing to rise above the circumstances and find ways to continue to grow and thrive even in these challenging times. So, okay. More announcements. We have our Savvy program. What is Savvy? Savvy, what does it mean to be savvy with iHospice? So you're going to learn all about this at the end of March. So we're really looking forward to sharing what we are working on for all of our members. It's something very unique for the industry. It's going to make doing things that you need to do for your business much easier in this particular category. And our tech guys are hard at work making this happen. So look for the big reveal March 31st, because we want you all to be savvy. Our conference is always a getaway with a takeaway. This year, we are focused on sales and marketing. So all attendees will receive the SMS, Sales and Marketing Specialist. I don't know where the and is dropped off there. I've got to fix that logo, but Sales and Marketing Specialist designation. So the goal of this designation is to teach you how to be good at marketing yourself, but more importantly, figure out ways that you can partner for exposure with your clients. And that will be a value-added benefit in working with you, whether you're a real estate agent, and you need to know more about marketing and sales and have this designation, or you're a stager, it's going to be talk a little bit of information and resources that you'll have post-court, post-conference, such as a social media scheduler and a marketing scheduler and sales process and closing the sale and so forth. So we'll have a lot of great information coming your way with that designation. And I appreciate my team who, we kind of brainstormed about what we really wanted to focus on this year. And also with the sales and marketing, we'll be doing a whole session on, we called it a discovery session, DISC. So whether we use the DISC profile or another sort of personality assessment, that's also part of understanding clients and being able to market yourself and close the sale effectively. So we'll be covering that as well in the conference. So that will be issued to all attendees and then made available after the conference as an online webinar. I'm really, really proud of our European members, of our industry in general. So they are doing their best to grow home staging overseas in a lot of different countries. I heard this morning from Aya Elgar from Israel, and she's going to do an article in our April magazine. I've asked her to share. She has, Israel's not a huge country, but she's put staging on the map there. She has courses she's teaching. We have a chapter, IHOS country chapter for Israel. And so when you think about staging, sometimes we get myopic and think it's just, in my my country or maybe my city. We just get we forget like there's a whole world that are buying properties and how they operate and how they do it similar but also different than how we do it here. And so our IHOS Europe group, they will be teaching a course to real estate agents in Europe, April 14th. And it's for any real estate agent or estate agent over there that wants to attend. You can register. And what it's going to be doing is teaching them how to use staging as a key listing and marketing tool and a differentiator. Real estate over there is sold differently. Seller doesn't have to list with one real estate agent. Unlike here in the US, you usually list your house, you have an agreement with one realtor, and then you list your house for sale. Well, there it's sort of a free-for-all. It's like the Wild West. And so the agents are not going to provide staging, where a lot of our agents here will pay for consultations, excuse me. They're not necessarily going to do that in Europe because they're not assured of getting the listing. So by bringing staging to the table for these people and adding value to their services, that will then compel their clients, the sellers, to commit to one realtor. And that's the goal. And so Sonia, I'm going to give a shout out for Sonia Radovinovich, who's our IHOS Europe president. She's worked very hard to establish relationships with that logo down at the bottom that says SEPI. That is like the NAR of Europe. And so they have been cultivating this relationship for almost 2 years. So very, very pleased to be able to do this with through SEPI and to be able to start educating these real estate agents because they desperately need it. And so we'll be doing it in English first. We have the goal to translate into the French translations done. We'll be doing German, Italian, and Spanish as well to start off with. So thank you, IHOS Europe, and for carrying the mission forward to educate all the real estate agents that desperately need to know about staging around the world. That's an awesome, awesome accomplishment. So we're super proud of you guys. We have one last thing I wanted to share before I bring my guests on. So we have a magazine. So our first magazine came out in November, and it was full of holiday staging ideas and so forth. And then I didn't do one in December because of Christmas and so forth. And then my mother-in-law died. So January issue, I was originally planning to do these like once every other month, but we're having such a great time pulling the content together and sharing. They've sort of become a monthly thing. So we have January, February, and this is the March issue. So February was all about warehouses. So if you didn't get that issue or you're watching this and you're not an IHOS member, this is one of the reasons why you want to join. It's a benefit of membership. This magazine for March, for example, is 51 pages, full of great content on the whole focus was on pricing and value and articulating your value and your worth and identifying your value added, your value proposition, I should say, and pricing services. How do you price your business? How do you know that you're on track with that? And so I break down the 4 different pricing models. And then when it comes to clients saying, well, can you do it cheaper? And I get frustrated with that because then I put this in the magazine, an article, just a piece of it that break down who benefits when the house sells. And as markets are screaming right now, most markets, they're very low inventory. Housing prices are going up. We experienced that. We bought a house in September, lost out on the first 2 that we put an offer in, and that has just continued. And so as a stager and as a real estate agent, you're watching this and the market is very different. We don't know how long this is going to continue, but the benefit to anybody who's participating is when prices go up, people make more money that are involved in the process. And so I broke down, for example, the commission for real estate agents when the houses are listed for more money. And I know sometimes they're asked to negotiate on that. They make more money. All right. The lenders, they make usually a percent of the list price for doing the loan. So when the list price is higher, or the purchase price, I should say, they make more money. The title reps make more money. So everybody has a piece. They're tied in some fashion to the price of that property. And yet stagers are being asked to lower our prices and to give discounts. And so we need to stop that trend. And the way to do that is to articulate your value and what you bring to the table and how you impact the positive sale price of that property that impacts everybody else who's involved. And we're running a business, not a hobby. And as I share with people, you need to know what your bottom line walkaway price is when you have given a price for a staging. And so we're going to talk about closing the sale and negotiating today with John Norris, my husband. We call him the negotiator. But you need to know what your walkaway price is and understand the value, because none of us want to be losing money operating a business. And you certainly need to know your worth and your value for your market. So you're not underpricing either. A lot of people that don't know how to price, if you're watching this and you were never taught how to price your services and you live in a city and you're like, I have no idea what the going rate is, please email me, Jenny@iahsp.com. That's JENNIE. And I would be happy to share with you via email some strategies and thoughts about your market, because I have taught all over the US, in Canada, over in Europe, and I have my finger on the pulse of pricing, what the going rates are in different markets. And so we don't want people guessing, and we're not price fixing, but certainly if you're in a market where staging is, I'm just going to throw a number out, $100 an hour on average, and you thought you could charge 35 or 40 and make a killing because in your JOB before staging you were making 15 an hour or 20, and you thought, I'll double my income, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And stagers need to be taught their value relative to the real estate industry. So anyway, this issue has a lot of great content in it. And also Joseph Haecker is going to be joining us today, and he will be talking about InCrowd, which is a new tech application that we want to be able to utilize. He's going to explain what that is, and there's a whole article in the magazine on it as well. So with that, I guess, John, you want to come over, because I'm done with my announcements, and we can also bring Joseph in. I'm going to unmute you, Joseph. And Joseph is now, hey, well, you're not on, there you are. Hey, so Joseph is now a neighbor in Denver, and I gotta go this way. Let's see, we'll do, here, I'll have to push it back to you because both of us.
We do get to hang out, John.
No.
You can see half of me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. So, sorry. Well, yeah. So John has a new laptop. His old laptop we found out his camera doesn't work, and so we just thought we would sit together and do the show for you. So I'll pull my laptop backwards. I'm going to push it this way, without knocking off the dining room table here. There we go. A little bit better. Okay. Here we are. So good morning, everybody. So this is John Norris. So tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So I'm John. My whole background, my whole life has been sales. And my first 20 plus years was in IT, Fortune 500 sales. Worked for a couple of notable companies like Sun Microsystems, Oracle, and Cisco. And then the siren call of real estate got me. And I've been a realtor. It'll be 17 years this April, full time.
And so what we wanted him to cover today was the art of negotiating the sale, because that's a big part. A lot of us are, we're getting pretty good at marketing. If you do social media things, you get a lead, you have an opportunity, maybe even provide pricing, and then people tend to sort of sit back and wait for that client to call you back. And I wanted John to share a particular story, because in real estate it's very, very competitive. I mean, we think staging is competitive. Real estate is way more competitive as far as the number of properties that are available to sell, the number of people that would like to sell those properties. It's the proportion is really tight. And so there are leads that come in. And so go ahead and tell that story about the one that came in, and then, not just sitting back and waiting, but how you pursued it and won it.
Well, and this relates to staging, right? There's a lot of good staging competitors, I'm sure, in your community. And I guess in my particular case, I get some leads on Facebook because I'm a member of about 10 different real estate Facebook sites. And in Denver, it is so crazy. Within 20, 25 minutes, no exaggeration, there'll be 100 comments for one lead saying, choose me, choose me. So I happened to be scrolling through Facebook and I found it 24 hours later. And I worked with my son, and Stephen said, don't, excuse me, don't pursue it, Dad. It's already probably gone. So I get on the phone, I call this guy and I said, hey, I apologize, I know I'm late, but here are my credentials, would love to work with you. And he said, you're only the second person who's actually called me in 24 hours. And so that started off the conversation. We ended up getting the lead, and it was a $600,000 deal. And it was all about don't give up and pursue the lead.
Right. And not being passive with closing the sale. It's important that we be proactive. So whatever your process is, once you have sent off that proposal, what do you do next? And so what I do is I'll usually, depending on how the client likes to communicate, they're going to reveal whether they'd like to text you, email you, or a phone call. So you want to respond, call them, text them, email them. Did you get the proposal? Do you have any questions on the pricing or the process? How does it look? How does the pricing fit with your budget? So you start this conversation. You don't have to sit back and wait for the phone to ring. And especially when they might be working, getting additional quotes from other stagers or real estate agents even, you want to be the squeaky wheel, but in a polite way. People want to be pursued pleasantly, being persistent, and want to know that you want to work with them. So I think the big reason why do people not make that phone call? What's the number one reason that they don't do that?
People are scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
They think that there's going to be questions they won't be able to answer. They maybe look at it like you just said, oh, that's being confrontative, which it's not. It's just being, like what you said, pleasantly professional. But the one thing I wanted to say also is, in the staging world, as it is in real estate, it's not just about price. It's about terms and conditions. So Stephen and I have recently won 3 deals in the last few months, and we came in as the 3rd lowest price. We weren't the highest. We were the third highest.
As far as offers to purchase.
Yes. Yeah. As far as, buying a house, working with our buyers. And that's because he called the seller, the listing agent, the seller's agent, and said, besides price, what are the terms and conditions? We found out, which is happening in about 70% of the cases, post-occupancy agreement. So what that means is they want to close, let's just say March 31st, but they want to stay in their house for another 2 months, because guess what? They haven't started the buying process yet. So now they need to scramble. And so they need to be able to stay in their house for 2 months, maybe 3 months. So for you stagers, it's not just about price. Here's a price. What do you think? It's about delivery. It's about, and I always like to bring up things about, and Jenny does this great, about competition, which is, hey, I just want you to know, we're not cookie cutter. Our furniture is going to match your architecture, whether it's, mid-century American, whether it's contemporary, whether it's more of a Victorian feel. So there's so many different ways you can win your deal, not just based on price.
Can I ask a question there?
Yes.
So in real estate is a lot of call prospecting. There's a lot of phone interaction. This isn't something that you just kind of like shoot off an email and hope that they like get back to you and don't call some other agent. Are you finding that it's the same in home staging? Are you finding that people, home stagers, are waking up on a Monday morning? There is a sweet spot for call prospecting, that they're actually prospecting, and that when they get a lead through Yelp or Facebook or Instagram, that they're actively picking up the phone and making that phone call. Is that the trend that you're seeing, or are you seeing people being more passive, hoping that people just come to your website and magically book you?
Yeah, I think a lot of the latter for the most part. I see that on Facebook. People will say, "Well, I have a website. I don't know how to get business. What should I do?" They're not being taught how to pursue the client. And I know when I was new, and I didn't have a referral base. I didn't have my client base set up. I did cold call. I mean, I remember profiling every realtor in the Sacramento area that had credentials after their name. I had a stack of paper about this thick that I'd printed off. Let's see, where's my finger? Printed off the internet, and I started cold calling. And well, first I did research. I found out who had the listings, and I said, I did hash marks. And so I had my hit list, my target list, and I started making phone calls. And I think a lot of stagers are afraid to do that because they don't want to be rejected. They don't want to hear no. They also may not know who to put on their list. And so you have your heart
That's
warm and cold prospects,
that's very common for all business owners. Everybody likes to cook their hot dogs and have a little hot dog stand, but nobody likes to make the sales calls.
Right.
And yet that sales call could land you that job at that baseball stadium.
Right.
Those sales calls are really important. John, if I were a home stager and I called you, what's going to convince me to go with you
That's a good question.
as a real estate agent?
First of all, I want to know, you're professional. How long you've been in the business? Do you own your own furniture, or do you have access to furniture and not just cookie cutter furniture, but furniture for all different styles, or at least 3 different styles? And what's your delivery from the time you see my seller's house, the time you can get over and stage it? How many days would that be?
I think the other thing too is partnering for success with a realtor as a stager. What else can I do besides just staging the house? It's like, what else can I do to help that realtor get business?
Excellent.
And that's where, promoting that agent online with social media. That's one of the things we're going to talk about at our conference, is not just marketing ourselves, but how can we then turn into a partner in helping market and get exposure for that agent so they get more business. That's really what it's about.
I think that in home staging, I see a lot of before and after photos. I see a lot of my listing just sold in 5 days. I don't see that that John's listing sold in 5 days. That John, who rocked it as a realtor, and it's because he's such a great realtor that staging our partnership helped him sell faster. I think. Misnomer is that people go after the FSBO. When you're posting on social media, anything that you do on social media has got to be targeted. So when Johnny's on, Johnny's going to talk about that as well at the conference. You got to have a strategy. So if your social media strategy is just to show before and afters and how great you are, the home staging industry is a support industry for guys like John. You're helping John sell that house faster and for more money. And you're wanting to get more Johns. I would like a Rolodex of high performing realtors that I just don't want to have to, then I don't have to pick up the phone. I can just call John occasionally and be like, hey buddy, let's go grab a drink. Hey, we're doing about 6 stagings for you this month. How do we get 2 more? And that's how you grow your business. So John, I got another question. So I call you, I get your voicemail. When do I get annoying calling you?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind a phone call, I guess more than 5. But I would think that if you would call, maybe, you leave a voicemail, leave your email, leave your phone number, and then wait maybe about, 3 days, call again, wait another 3 or 4 work days, call again. I would also, in addition to leaving voicemail, as we all know, I don't know about you, Joe, but I probably don't listen to my voicemail as much as my emails and my texts, or look at those.
Yeah.
So I would also, like Jenny just said, which is so astute, is do the research, find out that Bob Johnson at Remax, find out what his email is, and then write him and say, hey, Bob, this is Jenny Norris. I just left you a voicemail this morning around 10 o'clock. This is what I discussed, and list the points. And I look forward to calling, hearing from you at your earliest convenience. And then a week later, another email with different content and an attachment of something of value. That would impress me as a realtor.
So I think
I was
hunger, right? Showing that proactiveness, right? Saying,
Absolutely.
ring,
Well-
didn't get a message. Odds are you're probably not going to listen to a voice message. I've been hot lately on text graphics. So throw a picture of yourself on there. I left you a voice message, tried to give you a call. Give me a call back at your earliest convenience, just in a graphic, because nobody reads the text messages either. But that picture, you get a picture. So I recommend text graphics for
That's a great idea.
following up. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
it
think
just shows that proactivity.
it does.
Well-
And then it's also, you want to answer your phone. So I can't tell the number of calls. Like there was a call that came in this morning was from Florida. I almost didn't answer because I get, like you guys, you get a lot of spam calls. But I answered it, and it was a prospective client who has a vacant property flip that they did and needs to get it staged. And so the comments I usually get is like, "Thank you for answering your phone. You're the fifth person I called. You're the only one that answered your phone." So stagers, answer your phone. Because, especially if it's somebody that's looking online and they might find you because of your marketing, and then now you're not getting the sale because you're not bothering to be responsive or answering your phone. So, whether you have that or you have a service that does it for you, make sure that people can get a hold of you. That's really important.
I did an experiment at the beginning of COVID. This was probably about February, March last year, and I called up. I think it was like 22 interior designers in my local area. They were all, Googled interior design. 22. How many picked up the phone?
I'll say 2.
I'll say 3.
0.
Really?
Wow.
0 picked up the phone.
Crazy.
How many did their number change and was no longer active?
Out of business.
I don't know, 5.
6
Wow.
companies that are still getting calls that could be referring over to someone else, or for whatever reason change their cell phone. Google yourself and have somebody call that number and find out what your customer experience is like. Because hell, if your customers are trying to reach you, that could be money in your pocket.
Absolutely.
And one thing I wanted to add on to what you said, Joe, which I thought was a really, really good point. I see stagers who say, "Hey, just stage this house." They submit maybe 2 photos, and it's, as you said, it's sold in 5 days. And I love what you said, which is, why not put on there, "Hey, this is Bob Johnson's of Remax. It was a great experience working with Bob." And you might think, well, I don't want to necessarily promote that guy's business. No, what it's going to do is other Remax agents are going to go, "Wow, Jenny Norris did that for Bob. She'll do that for me." So I love when you said working with the specific agent. I think it's really smart.
This will even sound kind of funny, but I even recommend giving your agent clients levels. So you know what? Bob does 3 stagings with me per month. So I'm not going to give him as much time. I'm going to stage good. I'm going to, definitely do that sort of thing. I'm going to even maybe throw my staging yard sign out front, which I don't see enough of. But for Julie, who's just crushing it, and I'm getting 8 to 10 stagings from her, I might actually make sign writers for her open houses, for her signposts. I'm definitely gonna call her my top agent. You don't need to wait for the NARS or some other magazines you give them a top agent label. You put that badge on it. Give them levels. And this will sound funny, but it's the same reason that we apply for all those freaking awards all over the place, because it feels good and it helps us stand out. So don't wait for some other magazine to do it. As a home stager, let people know that they're your top realtor. And it'll get those other realtors to try to give you more work too, because they don't want to be left out. Good old FOMO.
Exactly.
Well, and it's also, when we post things, we want to we're like stagers, and we share our work with each other, but we don't get work from each other necessarily. Every once in a while, I might get a referral, but you have to do the public facing marketing that you're doing. After pictures, they're all about getting you more business. You need to target the real estate industry, investors and builders. So how are you doing that? And, I've been doing Instagram reels, little movies, and I mentioned 2 realtors in my latest 2 that we did, name drop. And so, of course, you don't want the before pictures in there. You just want the afters, put their contact information in there so people right from my post could reach out to that agent to see the property. So make it easy to for people to connect with that agent and toot their horn, as Joe said, is, if they're one of your top that you love working with, share that, because that's really important, because it's a relationship and that's something that's adding value. So one of the sayings that we have is, we're the only company that continues to work for you after the staging is complete, because we're going to market that property and get it additional exposure. So that's something that, again, would differentiate you from the crowd.
Well, the other thing I want to say too, Joe, is as we all know in sales, and especially maybe stagers too, is let's say you do your research, which is excellent. You find out that Bob Johnson, my favorite guy, is a big time realtor, and you call him, you get a hold of him. Now you're like, yes. And he's like, oh, well, thanks, Jenny, for calling. Yeah, I already have a stager. Well, I like to ask, well, good. Well, like, how long have you been working with them? Should I get over here?
Yeah.
I got to scoot over a little bit. But I guess my point is just because he says I'm already working with a stager, don't give up. Talk to him about his experience. Talk to him about his deliveries. Oh, are your current stager's deliveries, good? Is her furniture in good shape? Start bringing up some things, because when you start fishing, as I call it, I bet you more than half the time they're going to say, well, her delivery was 2 days late. Well, some of her stuff looks a little banged up. And that's when you can say, well, I just want you to know that last year I just invested in $50,000 of brand new furniture. So it's going to be very impressive when it comes into your listings.
And you can be considered a backup too. If that person's not available, I'd love to be a resource. And then one of the things that I know that John and Stephen do when they get a lead is they immediately look the person up on Facebook, and you're looking for commonality, because people want to do business with people that they like and trust and have things in common with. So when you find that, like, maybe you're from the same part of the country, or you like the same music groups, or your background, beliefs, and so forth are in alignment, then you're able to kind of mention that, because it's all about relationship and rapport. So that's a great strategy when you're targeting particular agents. Find them on social media. Find out, because there's even some people, like, I might look at, like, I don't want to do business with that person because maybe they are into things that I'm not into, or something like that. So you do want to, profile, not stalk, but profile your potential clients online. And then when they are your clients, friend them on Facebook and comment and engage with them. So it's not just strictly business all the time. And that creates loyalty for life.
And I don't know, I think you and I talked about this, and I would love to pick up the conversation again. But I'm just curious, how many stagers, so in real estate, this happens all the time. Real estate, they do role playing. And so ring, ring. Hey, John, how's it going? This is Joseph, your local realtor. Hey, buddy, you got a couple of minutes? Whatever, and practice it out. What about that role play with that client that's paying the butt? Ring, ring. Hey, just wanted to follow up. That invoice is due. Any of those sort of things that we work through. I forget. I did stats last year, and I forget how many hours of homework and studying kids do. Pro athletes spend more time in practice than they do at bat.
Of course,
and
yeah.
yet, how often are we practicing? I've talked with people, and they're like, "Oh, well, I do presentations all the time." Okay, cool. You're on the spot, and that's where money's on the line. But what about doing a presentation amongst friends? Hey, Jenny, can I role play with you? I just want to check in weekly and role play with you and work through things that might be on my plate for this week. And I would love to see more of that, because I'm not seeing the prospecting. I'm not seeing that follow up. And then it really is based off of, like, what your customer service, your products, and this is all about relationships. Staging, you get that realtor, and it's just slip a ring on that finger. You get a high volume realtor, just show up with a ring, and just make them your friend.
Well, and the role playing is super important. And so, I mean, I created a marketing book. I think it came out in 2000. I want to say like 11. 12, maybe the marketing made simple. And so in the back of that book, there's all the role playing scripts. So what I did is, I had identified the doubter client, the disbeliever, the cheap client, the decorator, etc. And role scripted out, like when they ask us this question, then this is how we respond. When they say, then they say this is how you respond. So it's all scripted out. That's in a book. Many people have that. I don't know if a lot of people actually have worked through and read it, but role playing is so important. And I just came up with these because I would ride around in my car and I would, talk out loud to myself, and I'd say, okay, if you ask me this is how I'm going to respond. And I would hear myself saying the words, because that's really important. When we have conversation in our head, it's really different when it's in the moment. When you've heard yourself say it before, you'll be amazed how the words just plop out of your mouth, and you're like in your head going, dang, that sounded really good, because you've practiced it.
It's muscle memory.
I was out at the Design Bloggers Conference in 2000. I think it was like 17 or 18. And Rachel Moriarty was with me, interior designer out of San Diego, the queen of color. Like, the lady is just like a rainbow, a walking rainbow. So as we were going about it, I was back then I had Design Wall, and I was talking to people about Design Wall. And at first she was listening to kind of like me talk with people. And at one point she was like, oh my God, you say the same thing every time. I was like, oh, it's a script. And she's like, by the end of that Design Bloggers Conference, she's like, I can actually tell you what you're going to say before you say it. She's like, you say it with the same enthusiasm as though it's the first time you've said it. And that's the point, right? You don't want your script or your role playing to come off as scripted. You just want to be so damn good at it that like people are like, damn, this person knows what they're talking about, And with stages, I'd say this is even easier. You don't have to go talk to 900 people. You're not Coca-Cola trying to sell soda to the world. You need, Jenny, how many realtors on average should a healthy home staging business have to make some decent scratch?
Good question.
It's a great question. So I teach 15 to 20 calling you regularly, and you'll have a six-figure business solid. Those are even like top
that's
producers.
15. Yeah. That's not even a full classroom. That's just 15 people. You don't need to be for people who maybe don't know, my kind of background was social media. And I'll tell you, you don't need to be on social media. My mentor was John Pietro, former head of marketing for Wendy's and Chick-fil-A. And he'd tell you that Wendy's could have saved a ton of money on marketing. They didn't need to do half of the stuff that they did. And his words of advice for me are always low-hanging fruit. So I see a lot of people just doing a lot of things that you really didn't need to do. Back in the 90s, we were all told we needed, here, I'll do a little fun with you. In the 90s, what were all businesses told that we needed to have?
In the 90s?
Yeah, website. 90s. A website. If you're in business, you gotta have a website, right? 2000s. What do you need to have? You need to have this. What did you need to be on?
Instagram, Facebook,
social media.
Social media. You needed to be on. We had Facebook, and you need to be on social media. Now you've got to be on TikTok. You've got to be on Instagram. There was a time when you had to be on Pinterest. I'll tell you what, you don't have to be on any of that stuff. In fact, it's probably a waste of your time. First of all, how often is your website really generating leads? Unless you're a king at freaking SEO, unless you're just spending a ton of money on Google AdWords. Your website is just a spot for people to come take a look and say, yeah, okay, cool. This is home staging. I would say call up your local realtor that's just crushing it. If you see their photo everywhere, then they probably got a good ad budget. Call them. And then don't just be like, hey, it's me, a little squeaky and a little nervous. Practice your pitch and invite them out. Hey, let's grab lunch. I know I don't want to take up a ton of your time, but you've got that ring in your back pocket because you did your homework, that agent's doing 70 listings a year. Ring on the finger, and go lock them down. You need 15 realtors to have a six-figure business. don't waste your time. I mean, your social media should be all about propping them up. Just letting them, hey, John is my rock star realtor. John is the best. John, because Sarah wants to be considered the best by you too.
And so when I teach classes, people will say, well, how do you, if you haven't heard from one of your clients in a while, you're like, hey, it's been a while since so-and-so called me. You don't want to call up and maybe your business is a little waning. You don't want to call, hey, hi, this is Jenny, and I haven't heard from you in a while, and I need some staging. I need money. Can you hire me? So, I mean, you wouldn't do that, right? So what I share is call them and say, I'm getting my schedule ready for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I wanted to, as one of my preferred clients, I want to know if there's anything that I can put on the calendar for you, consultation or a staging, so that we get that time slot confirmed for you. And so it's just kind of a different way to let them know that, to trigger the thought. And usually when I do that, they'll go, yeah, matter of fact, I have a listing coming up, or I was just thinking about you, or you actually have a client that we're probably going to need a consultation. And I'd say 90% of the time, that's the response that I get when I make those phone calls. And so, it's, again, being proactive, not passive in sales. And I think that, again, if you're new as a stager and you're wondering why you don't have business, you have to go after business. And it takes, I say, 90 days or less, you should be able to get positive response based on your consistent activity in pursuing a sale, pursuing a client, pursuing a relationship. Within 90 days or less, you should at least get one person that says, yes, I'd like to work with you. And if you don't, then there's something that you're saying or not saying that's a disconnect with that.
Well, I don't mean to, but I think that's a pretty good segue to join in crowd. Our tagline right now has been, does your business card make it easy for your clients to refer you? And if it doesn't, then your business card is hurting your business. If John can't forward on my contact info to the other realtors that he works with, then that's hurting my business. And so we just launched Join In Crowd. It's a digital business card platform. And with Join In Crowd, so if you look through the history of digital business cards, because since posting, I've even had a few stagers that are like, oh, I'm on this other platform. Digital business cards, when they first came out, they were all card readers. So you had to take a person's business card and scan it.
I remember those.
The problem with that, right? They were horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't the app. Those guys gave their best. It could have been your phone. It was most likely the business card, right? People have crappy business cards. How many business cards do you get where you're like, I don't even know what this person does, or in the trash?
Or
right?
You can't read it because the font is so tiny and it's scripted. And it's I'm like, I can't see it. I can't even with my glasses on, I can't read it.
People get crafty and they use scripts and they try to be clean and have just a dot, and you're like, what the hell is this? Is it just a dot? There's no contact info. There's no nothing. It's horrible, and we're left to our own creativity, and the printing companies make a fortune off of this. 88% of all business cards, including yours, end up in the trash within 7 days. So there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I like my business card. I like the feel of it. It doesn't matter what you like. It's just like in the article that we did in your guys' magazine, home staging isn't about what you like. It's about what's effective. Your business card isn't about what you like. It's about what's effective. If people aren't calling you, if people can't pass your card on and tear it in pieces and hand it to multiple people, then it's not effective. It's neat, and maybe you feel good about buying it, and it felt good when that package came in from Vistaprint, and you've got your 250 free cards. Cool. But if you can't get business off of it, then that's just a waste of time and money. And especially if people can't read it. So originally digital business cards were card readers. They evolved into, if you see them now, there's even companies out there that build you a mini website. So there's a company that for $350, but right now if you buy it, it's $170. So they're building you kind of a custom website, but it's all based off of their template. And the gist of this one is sharing your contact info. So that's neat. it's and sharing your contact info is important. Shooting people over to your social media is important. A big trend that you've seen too is the tap. Have you seen those where you tap it to a bracelet or a popple? You tap it to this little kind of pop socket thing on the back of your phone and you tap it. If you guys have used those, so the problem with that is it might work on Jenny's phone because she had the right settings, but I go to use it on John's phone and he didn't have the right settings. So this is dependent on other people having their phone settings. And are they on an iPhone? Are they on an Android? On a Windows phone? And then you're sitting there going, monkeying around with your device going, wait, what is an NFC setting? A RF what setting? And wait, is that in the internet setting? So so back in 2019, was hitting the road, actually headed out to the IHOS conference in Nashville. And I had just got the coolest little card. It was called the Blue Card. It was billed as the last business card you'll ever need. So it was this card. It was clear, and you could tap it. Right. Well, I got it at the mailbox. My next door neighbor was right there, and he was excited because he has 4 businesses, and so he was going to order 4 of these, slap a sticker on the front of them so he could differentiate them all, and he was just going to let people tap. So we unwrap it, and we go to use it. It worked on my phone, didn't work on his. And I was like, oh, man, we kind of struggled with this before when I had used Haystack and some of these other platforms. And I was like, I think I have the solution. So I went to work creating all the specs for it. So I wrote like 87 specs in like 48 hours. Stayed up round the clock, called up my developer, Lisa, and we got started on building out Join In Crowd. So Join In Crowd, what we do differently is it's shared by QR code, text message, so I could just text it to you. I can also share via email. I can add a message, and I can add attachments. So when I was out doing networking, and I was at between 2015 to 2019, I was at 2017 through 2019, I was at 91 trade shows. And I think between 2015 and 2019, I was at like 120, 130 trade shows.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a rough schedule.
Crazy.
But that networking, what I needed to share wasn't just my business card. I also wanted to share attachments, any of those brochures, any of my marketing stuff that I needed to give you. I wanted to do that in one shebang. I didn't want to have to, send you a text and then follow up, because who follows up? And so we created Join In Crowd. The other thing is, I'm from the video world, and you guys all know, Tori Tove talks about it. Everybody talks about, we're on video right now. We need video. It's a great way to communicate with people. Your business card may be your only interaction with that person. And if they don't understand what you do, because your logo is ambiguous, maybe the name of your company is, Joe's Business. Well, shit, I don't know what that means. So, if it's ambiguous and somebody doesn't know or understand the value in what you have to offer, they're going to move on. So one of the big differentiators that we have for Join In Crowd is the video banner across the top. So you can upload and change. Sure, yeah. You want
to play the video here so that people, hopefully this will show up in here. So we play it.
We'll get through this.
Okay.
And when we do, it will be about the relationships we've made along the way. The friendships, the connections, the network that we've built, that turn into the life we create afterward. Join the In Crowd. Digital business cards. Make friends. Stay connected. Sent with love from Join In Crowd.
So the other video you sent me was, it was too large to put in the application here, but I'll put it on our pages. There's just a little promo for it. So kind of talk about how it works and how it is.
I've kind of got it running in the back here too.
Oh, good.
What is that?
I've kind of got it running on the projector in the background over here too.
I wonder what that was. That's cool.
That's like your bicycle. Yeah.
A local Colorado brand.
Exactly.
So So with joining crowd, I wanted to make it fun. So our tagline is make friends, grow your network, stay connected. We have a few different features that are different. We have your activity. So you can create as many free cards as you want. So if you've got your primary business, and like me, you like 5 different side hustles, then you could create free digital cards for each of them. Free, completely free. And you can share your card, and people can download your card, and you can share it to social media completely free. For $1 a month, for $1 a month, or $9, and I think it's like 80 cents for the year. So less than $1, then you get video banner. You can also download all of your contacts. So how many times you share your card, and then you're like, damn, I didn't get their card, right? You can share your card, and then as you establish those contacts, it goes into an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file, and you can download those. So you have a running tab of all your connections. The other thing is, for that same $1, you get to view your activity. So here's the trick to this one. You hand a person your business card. They walk away. What did they do with your card? Did they go to your website? Did they go to your social media? Did they do anything with it? So with Join in Crowd, we've got view your activity. So I share my card with John, and 2 days later, in my activity, I see that John clicked on my Facebook link, and John clicked on my website, and John clicked on my video. So now I can magically call John. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Hey, man, I just wanted to check in with you and see how things were going. Mysteriously enough, John was just looking at all my information. So it gives you a window into the activity on your card that your business card just doesn't reveal. And from sales, that's a great time. John's already showing interest. It's a great time to follow up. So that's Join in Crowd in a nutshell. Again, super easy, super cheap. I did address in the article, so read the article that you guys put out, and you can find it on iHost and my page. So if you guys are searching there, it's shared there as well. So free. Nobody trusts free. Free, yeah, right.
No
What's the catch? Yeah. So this is not free. You can create as many cards as you want, and it will not cost you a penny, but it does cost me. So each user costs me 7/1000th of a cent. So it's not killer, and I do need 7,000 users, and then that will cost me a full penny. But so it's not free. It does cost me, which is why the upgrade is so cheap. It's $1 a month. And I think that, and I spell out the value on that one. So if you shared your card with one client, with one realtor, and they hit the share button and share that on their social media or forward that onto one other realtor, and that got you one staging lead at an average sticker price of, what would you say an average sticker price is? $2,800, $3,200?
Yeah, right around there. Sure.
Okay, so it got you one lead at one new staging a month at $2,800, 12 stagings a year, that's $33,000, and this cost you less than $10. This cost you $9.80. So it's a great value. It does cost, so it's not free. It just costs me, and the upgrade is like so pathetic that it should be easy
like
for
a
everyone.
no-brainer. It's less than a Starbucks, right?
I said that in the article, and I wasn't sure if it was cool to put. Is it cool to write no-brainer in an artitle? But I did it.
Well, no, I think it's true. I mean, it's like, why wouldn't everybody do that? Now, I have this might be a dumb question, so I apologize, but I don't know if other people are thinking this too. So if I have a QR code and somebody sends it to my phone, I can't use my phone to read the QR code. So how do you read a QR code when it's on your phone and you need your phone to read it?
Sure. So you can send the card through text. So if I was standing in front of you, I could show you my card. You could scan it with your phone, or I could just text it to you. So now I captured your lead information. I could also, if I want to send you attachments, then I can just be like, oh, hey, Jenny, let me just email it to you. And so now you've got my contact information along with my attachments. And you can send it via text and email. So you now have both of those. They're going to be available in your downloads.
So Joe, talk about how cool the ability is to send attachments. Like for stagers, some of their post work, whereas you said, how long is the video? Is it a 30-second video?
No, so we don't have a limit on it. We are actually lifting that limit as well because the cost for me is pretty incremental. So we are right now, I think we're limited to like a 10-minute video, but we're going to lift that. And if you wanted to do some 2-hour long, I don't know why, movie, then I guess you could. You know, so this is built for everybody. And then as kind of a side bonus, we just to kind of celebrate the launch of, I've launched the Join In Crowd Business podcast, which I think I can show on here. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but we just did.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did the Join In Crowd podcast. So this is free. So once you sign up, then we'll email you, invite you to be on the podcast. We ask the same questions each time. So for you guys tuning into it, you're going to notice, does he ask the same questions? Yeah, I ask it in a different way, but I ask the same questions. Jenny, can you just say, hey, it's Jenny, name, title, and name of your company. That's how we intro. And then we ask the same questions for the interview. Jenny, can you tell us a little bit about your business? What got you started in the business? What makes your business unique? And then what are 1 to 3 things that people might not know about your business? Now, and then how can people get a hold of you? Those questions right there, every business owner should know. Every business owner should share their getting started story in your about page and let people know that throughout, just periodically, let people know how you got started. It makes you relatable. What makes you unique? You should know what makes you unique. When I call up John and John says, I got another stager, I should know what makes me unique. And that can help me get the edge on somebody else. 3 things most people would not know about your business. That's so hugely important because, again, it shows people that you're human, that it's a company, but it's humble, and it shows humility. That's a great one. People love to peek behind the curtain. So we ask those questions. We do the podcast. It's free. And I'm on a group of podcasters. The group is like 68,000 podcasters. And I asked the question, how many of you guys send a copy of the podcast to your guests? Like their own MP3 or MP4 copy? And none of them do. They all want you to go to their website and go to their podcast and stream on their thing. I don't care. I'm doing this to celebrate you. So with every podcast, you get an MP4 copy of the video to put on your website, send out through your email, and use for your own marketing purposes. This is truly an advertorial for you that normally would cost on other things. So the value associated with Join In Crowd is ginormous.
It's huge. So it's at joinincrowd.com. So we can put that, I'm going to type that into the next. We put it in here.
Joinincrowd.com.
Yeah, so I'm going to put it in Join In Crowd. Join In Crowd. I'm doing it on my phone.com.
Yeah,
so go to the website. You can learn. You'll be able to see all the information. And of course, Joseph is very, very visible on social media. He's very easy to get a hold of. Your mind never stops. All the business. He's been in Denver now. When did you move? For like October?
November. In November, I've since being out here, I have a local, a small business mentoring coffee hour. So if you're in the area and you have some ideas, you got a side hustle you've got in mind, or you just have a stall in your business, people ask me like, how am I qualified for this? Recently I posted, so this is my 14th business, and that I've all are registered. Join In Crowd is Join In Crowd Inc. It's registered with the state of Delaware. I've had some really cool mentors. Jeff Weiner from LinkedIn, Nick Bell, the VP of Snapchat, Michael Jones, the founder of MySpace, was on my advisory team for Design Wall. John Pietro, former head of marketing for Wendy's. Tom Lamb, who was Steve Jobs' next door neighbor, 3 doors down. And he was the CEO, and his company was responsible for making music streamable on the internet. Later on, Napster would come around and just kind of jack that up for everybody. But Tom was the one that actually, his company made streaming music possible. So whether you love that or hate it, that's his fault. So some really interesting people, and then just a lot of, like, you name it, from celebrities, musicians, and that sort of thing. So that networking has really got me a cool network of just really neat people that I've been able to bounce ideas off of and pitch my craziest latest thing off of and get cool feedback. So
well, you're definitely a great connector, and you also believe in giving back, which I think that's super important. That it's not just one-sided. And so I'm glad you're in our neck of the woods. I feel like I haven't seen you anymore since you've lived here than we did before. We have to change that. So he's downtown, which is kind of fun, and that's his mode of transportation, behind him the bicycle. And so of course he'll be at our conference, which will be great. And but go to join in crowd, and then the article pieces are on his site. They're also in the magazine that we share with all of our members. If you have any questions on that, just message me. I'm happy to share the info with you. And I think it's an awesome, very unique, necessary tool. I mean, just even the point about being able to get a spreadsheet download of everybody you went to versus having to hand type in their cards or forgetting to do that. That really goes into your CRM. I mean, how fabulous is that? That's just like, boom, done. Easy.
I mean, I use it on mine right now. So I was in the jacuzzi, and just by waving my phone, 6 people got my contact, downloaded it, and then I had all that information in a spreadsheet. It was already in my email. So super fast, and that's what I designed this for. I designed it for me. I was at a lot of trade shows, and I needed a solution, and I think other people are going to need this solution as well.
I think so too. So, well, thanks everybody for joining us. I know we're out of time.
Can I plug one last thing?
Yeah, go ahead,
I know you're headed out to Vegas. So I'm looking forward to hanging with you, even if I can't hang with you here in Denver, which is crazy, but maybe we'll hang in Vegas. In October of last year, I sent 4 news reporters out to High Point. We covered in showroom product features. The concept here was, if we couldn't get people to attend a market, we couldn't get them in front of the product. Let's get the product in front of the people. And you guys still need to see it. You guys still need to see what's new, see what's happening, see what's trending. And so if that wasn't going to happen, then I took it upon myself. I sent 4 news reporters out. We were there for 3.5 days. We covered, we did videos for 44 showrooms. We produced 50 videos that produced 170,000 views and 82,000 clicks to those manufacturers' websites. You guys clicked on those companies to discover more. So thank you for doing that. That was amazing. We're sending 3 new news reporters, one that had already gone with us. We're sending 3 reporters out to Vegas market. And as far as that giving back, we've also teamed up with the Good Deeds Project. The Good Deeds Project is an interior designer based company. So an interior designer founded it. And this was doing home renovations for people in need in the Las Vegas area. So not only are we going to be bringing you coverage of all these manufacturers out in Vegas, 3 great reporters bringing you this coverage, but throughout the coverage, we're also going to be airing and raising money and awareness for the Good Deeds Project in Las Vegas. So please tune in, hit the share button, visit the company's websites, engage with them, and then support local. We go there, we have our fun, and we're going to get back to having our fun in the coming years. But there are some definite local needs in the Las Vegas area. And so you're not only supporting local people, but you're also supporting a designer who took the initiative to help out locally. So visit my pages. It's all over my social media and website. Support the Good Deeds Project and tune in April 10th through the 14th as we cover, or April 11th through the 14th, as we cover live coverage inside of the showrooms from Las Vegas Market. And maybe you'll see Jenny. Maybe we'll get a cameo there.
That'd be fun. So is your website, is it the Live Broadcast Network or just Live Broadcast Network?
It's the livebroadcastnetwork.com.
So I'm going to put that.
I was hoping the LBN would catch on, but it hasn't yet. So
it's a mouthful. I know, the Broadcast Network. So I'm going to put this in the hang on a second. What does this do? I'm going to put this in the comments section here for you guys. You can go check out what he's working on. And Joseph was the mastermind genius behind our virtual conference in 2020. The way we produce the video is very different. He'll be involved for 2021 conference. We have some things we'll be doing that'll be much more, engaging and fun. So I'm glad you're a neighbor. We're in the burbs, you're in the city, but it's nice to have you in the area. And so thank you everybody for tuning in. Go check out joinincrowd.com, livebroadcastnetwork.com, iHosconExpo.com. So make sure you go and check out what we have adding. And of course, again, call for speakers. The deadline is March 25th. So get your submissions in. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, John, for joining. And Joseph, always appreciate being able to, my two J's, J and J.
We gotta meet up for a local beer. We gotta do this one again. There's some cool breweries here.
I know you're a whiskey person. I'm like,
there's a couple of cool ones local. Let's do it.
So, but I'll do beer. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another show. Thank you. Bye bye.